You think you can play in my world. Huh? You're nothing but a fool. Try and take what doesn't belong to you. Damien sneers, his voice dripping with disdain, as he steps forward, his towering form eclipsing the dim streetlight behind him. Stay out of my way, or you'll regret it. Zuri's breath catches in her chest. The words hit her like a punch, but she doesn't back down. The city around her seems to fall away, fading into background. It's just her and Damien now. The hum of the streetlights, the distant murmur of traffic. It all blurs into silence. Only the echo of his words reverberates in her mind. Her hands tremble at her sides, but her feet remain rooted to the cracked pavement beneath her. Damien, the man whose name is whispered in fear, whose mere presence bends a world around him to his will. He is a force of nature. People run from him. They hide. But here he is, threatening her like he's done to countless others. And yet, Zuri is not afraid. Not anymore. She's always been a quiet one, the one who blends in, who follows the rules. For years, she kept her head down, avoided confrontation, never let herself be seen. But tonight, everything changes. The adrenaline floods her veins, sharp and urgent. This isn't just a threat. It's a test to see if she's truly willing to stand up for herself. The weight of his gaze presses on her chest, suffocating her, daring her to back down. But she won't. The city lights flicker above her, casting long, twisted shadows that stretch and contort as if they're reaching for her. Damien's shadow looms like a dark cloud overhead, his presence swallowing the light around them. The distance between them feels impossibly wide, but Zuri feels something stirring inside her, a spark she hasn't felt in years. Her fists clench involuntarily. The bite of her nails digging into her palms reminds her that she has the power to change this. She's not powerless anymore. I am not a victim. I refuse to be. Her body tenses, every inch of her preparing for what's to come. Zuri takes a deep breath, the cool air filling her lungs. Her pulse steadies, and for a split second, time feels like it's slowing down. The neon lights above flicker again, casting eerie reflections on the cracked pavement. Damien watches her, an amused smirk playing on his lips, as if he's waiting for her to break. But she doesn't. Her eyes narrow, meeting his gaze with defiance. For the first time, she sees him for what he truly is. A bully, someone who thrives on the fear of others. And he's underestimated her, just like everyone else always has. Her mind races, recalling the countless times she's had to step back, to hold her tongue, to let others walk all over her. But not tonight. Not anymore. The adrenaline rushes through her, her senses sharpening. The sounds of the city that were once distant now feel deafening. Cars speeding by. People laugh in the background, the hum of the streetlights. The noise fuels her. It's her moment, her fight, her chance to change everything. Damien takes another step closer, his figure casting a long shadow across her. His eyes glint with malice, as if he can already taste a victory he believes is his. What are you going to do? You think you can stop me? He sneers, his voice low, dripping with mockery. You can't touch me. Not in this world. Her pulse quickens and her chest tightens. The weight of his words presses down on her, but instead of fear, a surge of power rushes through her. The silence between them is suffocating now, broken only by the sound of her own heartbeat. She's not afraid anymore. Zuri steps forward, slow and deliberate. Each movement feels calculated, precise, as if the world has suddenly narrowed to just this one moment, this one confrontation. The air between them crackles with tension. You're right, she says, her voice steady, but beneath it, there's an edge, a quiet, razor-sharp confidence. I'm no fool. But you, Damien, you're about to learn just how wrong you are. The words hang in the air like an unspoken promise, a challenge. Damien's smirk falters for a fraction of a second, and that's all Zuri needs. She's no longer the girl who backs down. The world around them seems to hold its breath, as if even the city itself is leaning in, watching, waiting for the next move. For a moment, Damien's expression shifts, surprise flickering in his eyes. But before he can react, Zuri steps forward again, her resolve stronger than ever. The first shot has been fired. The game has changed. And now, there's no going back. The air is thick with anticipation, And for the first time, Zuri feels the raw power of standing her ground. She isn't the prey anymore. The stakes have never been higher. And Damien, for all his bravado, doesn't realize just how dangerous the woman in front of him has become. The game has just begun, and Zuri isn't backing down. The air between them crackles, thick with tension. Zuri stands her ground, her eyes locked on Damien's, but she can feel the weight of his presence pressing in on her from all sides. The city's sounds are muffled, as if the world has narrowed to this single moment. Her breath comes in shallow gasps as her body reacts to the fight-or-flight instinct that's rising in her chest. Damien watches her, his expression a mixture of amusement and disdain. He's used to people cowering, used to seeing them tremble in fear at the slightest threat. But Zuri's gaze doesn't waver. She's not backing down. You don't get it, do you? Damien's voice is low, almost mocking. You're playing a dangerous game, girl. You think you can stand up to me? His laugh is a bitter sound that echoes down the empty street. You're nothing. You always have been, and you always will be. His words cut deeper than he could ever understand. Zuri's pulse spikes again, but this time, it's not fear that rises inside her, it's anger. The kind of anger she's kept buried for so long, hidden under layers of self-doubt and fear. Why should she let him walk all over her? A flood of memories rushes through her mind. The years of staying quiet. The countless times she stepped aside so others could take the spotlight. The moment she held her tongue when all she wanted to do was speak up. But not tonight. Tonight, she's taking control. She feels the weight of his gaze, but it no longer holds the same power over her. For the first time, the harshness in his eyes doesn't intimidate her. It only fuels her resolve. Zuri steps forward, slow and deliberate. Each movement is measured, each breath calculated. She's been pushed to the edge for so long, and now she's ready to leap into the unknown. She's done with playing it safe. I'm not afraid of you, she says, her voice strong, almost unrecognizable from the way it used to tremble in situations like this. And I won't let you control me anymore. The words hang in the air, heavy with finality. Damien's smile falters for a moment. He's used to being the one in charge, the one who calls the shots. But here she is, defying him, standing up for herself, and it's rattling him. For the first time, Zuri sees a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. Does he think she's bluffing? Does he think she'll back down when it gets real? She doesn't know yet what the next move will be, but she knows one thing. She's not going to let fear decide her fate anymore. Her gaze shifts to the street around them. The dimly lit city is vast, stretching out in all directions, a maze of possibilities. But in this moment, it's just them, no one else, no one to help her, no one to save her. This is her battle, and she's ready to fight. Zuri's breath steadies as she takes another step toward Damien. Her mind races. The next move could make all the difference. She could turn around, walk away, pretend she didn't hear the threat in his voice. But she won't. This is her moment to change everything. The world holds its breath. The tension is palpable. Damien's eyes narrow, his face hardening. You think you're special? His voice is quieter now. But the threat is still there, hovering like a storm cloud about to burst. You're nothing more than a puppet. I pull the strings and you dance. Zuri stands tall, her shoulders back. She's no puppet. Her heart beats louder than ever. Each pulse feels like a drum of defiance, a declaration that she will not be controlled. She refuses to let this man define her. For years, she allowed herself to be the quiet one, the one who let others speak for her. But now, she sees things differently. She is not a passive spectator in her own life. She is the one who will decide how her story ends. Damien moves closer, his footsteps slow but deliberate, as if he's certain she'll crumble under the weight of his presence. But Zuri doesn't flinch. She stands there, meeting his gaze with unwavering strength. Her fists are clenched, but she keeps them at her sides, steady, controlled. You're making a mistake, Damien growls, his voice low and dangerous. You think you can change anything? You're not strong enough. The words sting, but Zuri doesn't let them break her focus. The last few years of her life have been a series of quiet moments where she allowed others to make decisions for her, to dictate how she should feel what she should do. But tonight, it's different. She won't be the one who's pushed aside anymore. She won't let him control her. I'm stronger than you think, Zuri replies, her voice calm but resolute. Her words cut through the tension like a knife. And you're about to find out just how strong I really am. For a split second, Damien's confident smirk falters. But before he can react, Zuri steps forward, her stance unwavering, her presence commanding. She's no longer the victim. She's the one in control now. The power dynamic has shifted. Damien stands there, his expression darkening. His arrogance is his downfall. He's underestimated her, just like everyone else who's ever tried to take what's hers. Her heart races, but now, it's not fear that drives her. It's determination. The game has only just begun, and Zuri knows one thing for sure. She won't let anyone dictate her future again. The battle has just begun, and Zuri's not backing down. The street feels even emptier now, like the world around them has come to a halt. Damien is still standing there, his eyes narrowed, his posture rigid with frustration. For a brief moment, his usual air of superiority falters. He's used to being in control, to having everyone cower before him. But Zuri's defiance is starting to eat away at his confidence. Zuri takes a step back, her mind racing with possibilities. What comes next? She's never been in a situation like this before, but she knows one thing for sure. She won't give in. Not now. Not ever. You think you can just walk away from this, huh? Damien spits, his voice harsh. You're playing a game you don't understand, girl. Zuri doesn't flinch, doesn't let his words rattle her. The air between them is thick with tension, and she knows she's standing on the edge of something massive, something that could change her life forever. But what is it? What's the next move? She's tired of waiting for him to dictate her fate. For a split second, she wonders if she's truly ready for what's to come. Has she really thought this through? This moment, this battle, it feels like it's been building inside her for years. But is she strong enough? Just as she's about to answer herself, there's a flash of movement behind her. Her heart skips a beat. No. No, it can't be. Before she can turn around, two figures step into her line of sight, their silhouettes casting long shadows across the street. The first one is tall, broad-shouldered, with a strong, intimidating presence. The other is smaller, but no less menacing. Zuri's breath catches in her throat as she recognizes them. This can't be happening. You should have known better, Zuri, the first figure says, his voice low, gravelly, like the sound of rocks being scraped together. It's Trey, one of Damien's closest allies, someone she's tried to avoid for years. The second figure is Mia, a woman whose icy glare makes Zuri feel like she's been doused with cold water. Mia's reputation is legendary. She's ruthless, calculating, and always one step ahead of everyone else. This is bad. Zuri stands frozen, but only for a moment. She can't let fear take over now. The two figures are here for one reason, to back Damien up. The tension in the air grows thicker. Zuri is no longer just facing Damien. Now, she's facing two more enemies who have the power to destroy her before she even gets started. She thought she could handle Damien alone, but with Trey and Mia here, the odds seem impossible. What do you want? Zuri says, her voice steady, but she can feel the nerves crawling up her spine. She has to stay calm. Trey's lips curl into a smirk, but it's not one of amusement. It's the kind of smirk that makes your skin crawl. We're just here to make sure things stay in order, he says, each word deliberate, cold. Damien needs to teach you a lesson, Zuri, a hard one. Zuri's pulse quickens, but she forces herself to stand tall. She won't let them see her fear. Damien, standing a few feet behind them, watches her with an almost attached interest. He's enjoying this. He's enjoying watching her squirm. But Zuri won't give him that satisfaction. You think you can control everything, huh? Zuri asks, her voice sharper now, filled with defiance. You think you can dictate my every move? Damien doesn't respond immediately, but his eyes flash with something that's almost approval. What does he want? What's his game? For a moment, Zuri wonders if she's underestimated Damien. She's been so focused on surviving his threats that she hasn't considered the deeper layers of his control. This isn't just about power. This is a game, and Zuri's been playing it without even realizing the rules. Mia steps forward, her cold eyes never leaving Zuri. You got the wrong idea, Zuri, Mia says, her voice like ice. You're not the one in control here. You never were. The words hit harder than Zuri expects. She was never in control. Her mind races as the reality of the situation sets in. She thought she could break free from Damien's grip. But now, with Trey and Mia here, it's like they've cornered her from all sides. She's not sure how much longer she can keep this up. Damien watches her struggle for a moment, then takes a step toward her. His voice is quieter now, almost coaxing, like he's talking to a child who's made a mistake. You're going to have to learn the hard way, Zuri. You don't belong in my world. You never did. Zuri feels the weight of his words pressing down on her chest, but instead of giving in, something inside her snaps. No, she's done letting people define her. I don't belong in your world. You think you own the city? Zuri steps forward, her voice filled with quiet fury. You don't own me. You never will. There's a beat of silence, and then Damien's smirk returns. We'll see about that. The game has shifted again. The stakes are higher than ever, and Zuri is left wondering how she'll ever break free from the grip of these dangerous people. But one thing is certain now, she's not backing down. The battle is just beginning, and Zuri is starting to realize the true cost of defiance. The street is quiet now, eerily so. The air is thick with the weight of unspoken tension as Damien, Trey, and Mia watch Zuri. Their expressions a mix of expectation and cruel amusement. The battle lines are drawn, but Zuri's not sure she knows how to win. They've cornered her. There's no escape, no easy way out. Zuri stands tall, but inside, her mind races. What do I do now? It's like everything she's ever known is unraveling around her. She's always been a quiet one, the one who followed the rules, the one who blended in with the background. But she's starting to realize that blending in is what has kept her trapped. And she's tired of it. You think you can just walk away from this, huh? Damien's voice breaks the silence, harsh and cutting. You're not in control here. You never were. Zuri's chest tightens, but she doesn't let him see it. He's trying to break her. That's what he's always done, broken people until they're nothing. But she's not going to let him break her. Not tonight. I don't need to walk away, she says, her voice steady but laced with something new. Strength. Confidence. A fire she's never felt before. I'm not the one who's afraid here. Damien smirks. He thinks she's bluffing. He's seen this act before. People who talk tough but can't back it up. But what if he's wrong? Zuri's mind races. She's never been in a situation like this. She's never been forced to confront her fears head-on, to face everything she's been running from. And she's scared. But as she stands there, staring down Damien, Trey, and Mia, something shifts inside her, a realization. She's not powerless. She never was. You think I'm afraid of you? She asks, louder this time, the words biting with cold determination. You've got it all wrong. A flicker of surprise crosses Damien's face. Does he think she's bluffing? Does he think she's still the quiet girl who hides in the shadows? No, not anymore. Without warning, Zuri takes a step forward. The action is sharp, deliberate, as if she's finally taken control of her own fate. It's a small step, but it feels like a victory. She's not backing down. Damien's eyes narrow, and for a split second, she sees something unexpected in his gaze. Fear. Fear. It's brief. So brief that Zuri almost thinks she imagined it. But it's there. He's seen something in her, something that he wasn't prepared for. He didn't expect her to fight back. You want to play games? Zuri says, her voice steady now, filled with newfound power. Fine, let's play. The words hang in the air, heavy with the promise of something bigger than either of them had anticipated. This isn't just about power anymore. It's about survival. Zuri glances over her shoulder at Trey and Mia. Their faces are set in hard lines, but there's something about their expressions now, something that betrays a flicker of uncertainty. She knows they expected her to crumble. They expected her to break. But that's not going to happen. She's stronger than they think. She's stronger than she's ever thought. A wave of clarity washes over her. She's been hiding from this moment for far too long. All her life, she's been taught to stay quiet, to avoid conflict, to step aside when someone more powerful came along. But tonight, for the first time in her life, she's ready to face it. She turns back to Damien, the man who's tried to control her, to bend her to his will. But not anymore. "I'm not your pawn," she says, her voice ringing with a confidence she's never known before. "I'm not afraid of you, Damien." Damien's smirk falters. It's brief, but it's there. He takes a step back, and Zuri watches as the mask of arrogance slips just for a second. He's afraid of her. Her chest swells with pride. This is what she's been waiting for. The moment when everything changes. The moment when she takes control of her own destiny. "You think you've won?" Damien asks, his voice low, dangerous. "You're nothing. I will destroy you, Zuri. You have no idea who you're dealing with." Zuri's heart pounds in her chest. But this time, it's not from fear. It's from adrenaline. She's done running. She's done hiding. "You're wrong," she says, her voice louder this time, filled with the weight of everything she's ever wanted to say. "I'm stronger than you think." The words cut through the air like a knife, and for the first time, Damien hesitates. It's only for a moment, but that moment is everything. He's lost control. The air around them crackles with tension as Zuri stands there, unflinching, no longer the timid girl who avoids confrontation. She's someone different now, someone powerful, someone who refuses to be broken. Damien stares at her for a long moment, as if weighing his next move. The power dynamic has shifted. For the first time, Zuri realizes she's no longer afraid. She's ready to fight for what's hers. The stakes have never been higher. She's about to take on the most powerful man she's ever known. And for the first time, she knows she can win. The game has changed, and Zuri is taking control. The air is thick with anticipation. Zuri stands in the heart of the street, facing down Damien, Trey, and Mia, her fists clenched at her sides. The lights above flicker, casting long shadows that stretch out across the cracked pavement. But she stands firm. This is her moment. Damien, Trey, and Mia may think they have control, but Zuri knows one thing for sure. This fight is hers to win. "You're making a mistake, Zuri," Damien says, his voice low and dangerous. His words are a hiss, like a snake trying to rattle its prey. "You're out of your league." Zuri meets his gaze, steady and unflinching. She feels the heat of his gaze, but it no longer intimidates her. Her pulse is steady now, her heart beating with a rhythm of its own. Each thump a declaration that she's ready for whatever comes next. "Out of my league?" Zuri says, her voice cutting through the silence. "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Trey, who's been standing to Damien's side, now steps forward, his body language aggressive. His hands flex at his sides, like he's preparing to make a move. Zuri watches him carefully, her instincts sharp. He's a threat, no doubt about it, but she's not afraid. "You think you can take on all of us?" Trey sneers, his voice dripping with mockery. "You'll never win." Zuri's jaw tightens. The words don't sting the way they used to. They don't wound her anymore. She's heard them all before. The threats, the insults, the mockery. And each time, they've pushed her further into the shadows. But not tonight. Tonight, she's done hiding. "I don't need to beat all of you," Zuri says, her voice calm but full of resolve. "I just need to beat you." The words hang in the air like a challenge, a gauntlet thrown at their feet. She doesn't need to be a hero. She just needs to fight for what's hers. Mia steps forward now, her expression cold, calculating. Her icy gaze cuts through Zuri like a blade. Mia's reputation precedes her. She's the one who pulls the strings behind the scenes, the one who never shows her hand, who always stays 3 steps ahead. She's the real threat. "You have no idea who you're dealing with," Mia says, her voice barely above a whisper. But there's a dangerous edge to it. Damien doesn't lose. Zuri doesn't blink. "Neither do I," she says, her words steady and fierce. "You think I'm scared of you? Of any of you? I've been fighting my whole life. This is nothing." The silence stretches between them, thick and suffocating. Damien's eyes flicker with something. Frustration, perhaps, or disbelief. He's used to being the one in control, the one who calls the shots, the one who makes everyone else bend his will. But not tonight. The air seems to crackle, charged with the tension of their confrontation. Zuri knows what's coming next. She knows she can't let them intimidate her, can't let them break her. She's been broken before, and she's done with it. She's done being the girl who stands in the shadows, afraid to speak up, afraid to fight back. This is her fight now, and she's not backing down. Damien takes a step forward, his lips curling into a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. You're really going to keep pushing me? His voice is low and filled with menace. You don't know what you're getting into. Zuri's resolve hardens. She's already in it. I don't care what you think you can do to me, Zuri says, her voice unwavering. You don't scare me. Not anymore. Trey moves to the side, circling her like a predator. She can feel his eyes on her, calculating, waiting for a weakness. But there is none. Zuri's eyes stay locked on Damien, her body tense and ready. She's not going to make the first move. Not yet. She's not playing their game. You think I'm weak, don't you? Zuri says, her voice filled with cold confidence. You think you can intimidate me into submission, but that's where you're wrong. Mia watches from the side, her eyes narrowed, calculating, waiting. She's waiting for Zuri to slip up, to show fear, to break. But Zuri doesn't break. Not tonight. You've made a mistake, Damien says, his tone colder now, as if he's trying to regain control. You think you can take me on and win? You're delusional. Zuri steps forward, her gaze never leaving his. The ground beneath her feet feels solid now, unshakable. She's standing taller than she ever has, and she knows it. No, Zuri says, her voice ringing out like a challenge. You're the one who's delusional. I'm not the same person you used to control, and I'm not afraid anymore. Damien's eyes flash with something, anger perhaps or realization, but it's too late. The shift has already happened. Zuri's no longer the quiet girl standing in the shadows. She's a woman who's ready to fight for everything she's worth. The tension in the air is thick enough to cut with a knife. Zuri has changed the game, and now she's ready for whatever comes next. The fight has only just begun, and Zuri is standing her ground. The moment hangs in the air like a blade suspended above all of them. No one moves. No one breathes. The street feels tighter and narrower, as if the city itself is squeezing around them. Watching, waiting. Damien's jaw tightens. Trey's fists clench. Mia's eyes sharpen into something predatory. And Zuri feels something she has never felt before. Power. Not the kind that comes from domination or control. Not the kind Damien has always wielded like a weapon. But the kind that rises from deep inside. The kind born from truth, from pain, from refusing to be small any longer. She stands taller now, shoulders squared, gaze unshaken. And Damien notices. For the first time, his confidence cracks. Just a hairline fracture. But enough to show he feels a shift. You need to stop this, Damien says finally, his voice low but strained. You're not built for this world, Zuri. You never were. Then why? She says quietly, are you suddenly afraid of me? The words hit him harder than any punch ever could. Trey steps forward like a guard dog sensing danger, his voice rough. She's running her mouth too much, Damien. Let me handle. No. Damien cuts him off so sharply that Trey actually jolts. Mia's eyebrows lift. Even she wasn't expecting that. Zuri's heart thunders, but she stays perfectly still, perfectly grounded. Every sense feels sharpened, the cold air brushing her skin, the faint buzzing of a streetlight, even the shifting of gravel beneath Mia's boot. Damien inhales, slow and controlled, but Zuri sees a tension in his shoulders. He's rattled. She did that. You pushed too far, Damien mutters, almost himself. You should have walked away when you had the chance. He raises his head. His eyes lock onto her. Now I have no choice. Zuri doesn't blink. You always had a choice. You just never liked being challenged. Mia steps forward, her voice a soft hiss. You think Damien is a problem here? You think standing up to him makes you strong? Zuri, you don't understand. There are bigger forces at play. Zuri's stomach tightens. What forces? She asks quietly. Mia's eyes darken. Forces that won't stop at threats. Forces that won't tolerate disobedience. You've stepped into something you can't walk out of. Damien's silence confirms it. There's more to this than she ever realized. This isn't just Damien's ego or desire for control. This is something deeper, darker, more dangerous. Zuri feels the world tilt under her feet, for just a moment. But she closes her eyes, breathes in slow, then opens them with more determination than before. Whatever this is, she whispers, I'm not afraid. Damien exhales sharply, frustration twisting his features. That's your problem. And your downfall. Then he steps forward, slowly, deliberately, until he's standing so close the air between them vibrates with tension. Zuri lifts her chin. She refuses to step back. Zuri. His voice has changed. Less venom, less superiority. More warning? This path you're choosing. It doesn't end well. Zuri's voice is quiet, steady. For who? Damien's eyes flicker. Not with anger this time, but with something like conflict. A moment passes. Too long. Too loaded. Mia sees it. Trey sees it. And suddenly, everything explodes at once. Trey lunges forward with a roar. Mia moves like a blade slicing through air. Damien's hand snaps out in a silent command. And Zuri's body reacts before her mind does. She pivots sharply, adrenaline flooding every limb. Her instincts taking over, her fear combusting into something fierce and unstoppable. And for the first time, Zuri strikes back. Her movement is fast, precise, a burst of strength she didn't know she possessed, catching Trey completely off guard. He stumbles back. Hard. Mia freezes mid-stride. Damien's eyes widen. Zuri stands there, breath sharp, heart pounding, and she realizes this is who she was always meant to be. This is the moment that changes everything. This is the moment she becomes dangerous. And that's when Damien finally understands she is no longer fighting to survive. She is fighting to win. And she won't stop now, no matter the cost. Trey's body slams into the side of a rusted dumpster, the hollow clang echoing down the alley like a gunshot. For a moment, everything is still. Zuri stares at her own hands, chest heaving, heart pounding so loudly it feels like the whole city can hear it. She didn't think. She just moved. Something inside her snapped free, like a chain coming off its rusted hook. Trey blinks in shock, one hand braced against the metal as he tries to steady himself. He wasn't expecting that. None of them were. Mia's lips part slightly, her icy composure cracking for the first time. Damien just stares, not with rage, not even with mockery, with something that looks disturbingly like recognition. Well, Trey mutters, wiping a smear of blood from the corner of his mouth as he pushes himself upright. Looks like the girl's got claws after all. There's anger in his voice now, wounded pride, the kind that leads to reckless choices. He takes a step toward her, then another. Zuri's body tenses, but she doesn't retreat. She turns slightly side-on, weight shifting to the balls of her feet, like someone who suddenly remembers they have a right to stand where they're standing. Mia's voice cuts through the tension. Trey, don't. He ignores her. You want to play rough, huh? Trey snarls, pointing at Zuri like she's crossed some unforgivable line. You just made the worst mistake of your life. Zuri exhales slowly. Fear skitters up her spine, but it doesn't root her to the spot this time. It doesn't shut her down. It just sharpens everything. She meets his glare. Then don't step toward me like you're sure I'll lose, she says quietly. It's not a scream. It's not theatrics. It's worse. It's a promise. Trey lunges, but a hand grips his shoulder, yanking him back hard. Damien, I said no. Damien snaps, the edge in his voice is cold as steel. Trey spins, incredulous. I saw what she did. Damien snaps, eyes never leaving Zuri. And I said, no. The street falls silent again. Mia studies Damien with a new kind of curiosity now. She's not stupid. She can see what's happening. Control is slipping, but not in the way she expected. Zuri swallows, throat dry. Her pulse is still racing from the hit, but there's something else thrumming under her skin now. Something dangerously close to momentum. She just pushed one of Damien's men back. And Damien didn't unleash hell for it. Why? This isn't about a bruised ego, Trey. Damien says, his tone low but lethal. This is bigger than you throwing punches in a backstreet. Stand down. Trey clenches his jaw but steps back, muttering under his breath. Mia folds her arms, tilting her head slightly. So, what is this about then, Damien? He doesn't answer her. He's still looking at Zuri. And for the first time, she realizes she's not the only one being tested tonight. You've been pretending, Zuri says slowly, the word surprising even her. Acting like this is just about me stepping in your way. But it's not, is it? Damien's jaw tightens. You don't know what you're talking about. Then explain why you stopped him, she says, nodding toward Trey. Explain why you keep warning me instead of just doing what everyone says you do. The accusation hangs in the air. Trey shifts uncomfortably. Mia's eyes narrow further. She's listening now, really listening. Damien's silence is louder than anything he could have said. He finally exhales a sharp, frustrated sound. You shouldn't even be in this, he mutters. You were never supposed to be part of it. Part what? Zuri presses, stepping forward now, refusing to let the opening close. Part your threats? Your little empire? The way you decide who matters and who doesn't. His eyes flash. You don't understand the people behind this. You don't understand the cost of defiance. And you do, she fires back. You act like you're untouchable, but you sound like someone who's already owned. So, who's really pulling the strings here, Damien? That lands. Hard. Mia's gaze flicks to Damien, sharp as a knife. Trey goes still. Damien's eyes darken. The streetlight above them buzzes faintly, casting him in a harsh, flickering glow. Go home, Zuri, he says at last, voice low. Walk away from this while you still can. You've told a lot of people to walk away before, haven't you? Her voice is softer now, but no less firm. How many of them ever really got free after that? Something in his expression shifts, just a flicker. Regret? Guilt? It's gone too fast to name. He turns his head slightly, as if listening to something in the distance that only he can hear. Then, almost on cue, the distant growl of an engine begins to swell. Zuri hears it too. A vehicle, getting closer. Fast. Her stomach sinks. Trey smirks. Mia's expression smooths back into something unreadable. You asked who pulls the strings. Damien says quietly, You're about to meet them. The black SUV turns the corner, headlights cutting like blades through the darkness. It rolls to a slow, deliberate stop a few meters away, engine idling like a beast waiting to be unleashed. Zuri's throat tightens. She knows, instinctively, that whoever is inside that car doesn't believe in warnings or second chances. Damien watches her, unreadable now. Last chance, he says. Walk away. Don't look back. Pretend tonight never happened. Zuri feels the weight of the moment pressed down on her chest like a hand, trying to push her into the ground. She could walk away. Maybe they'd let her. Maybe they wouldn't. But even if they did, what then? Go back to being invisible? Go back to swallowing words, avoiding conflict, watching people like Damien chew up lives and spit them out, while she looks the other way. Not anymore. Her voice is barely more than a whisper, but it's steady. No. Trey lets out a low, disbelieving laugh. She actually said it. Mia just exhales through her nose, almost like she expected this. The SUV doors click open. Two dark-suited figures step out, movement smooth, disciplined. They don't look like street muscle. They look like something worse. The kind of people who never raise their voice because they never have to. One of them checks Zuri with a single, assessing glance. The other looks at Damien. This her? The taller one asks. Damien doesn't look away from Zuri as he answers. Yes. That word lands like a verdict. Zuri feels the urge to step back, to run, to bolt into the maze of streets and never look back. Her muscles almost twitch with it, but she doesn't move. The taller man nods once. Get in the car. Zuri lets out a small, disbelieving breath. You think I'm just going to climb in like some kidnap package? He doesn't blink. You think you're being kidnapped. A faint smile touches his lips, but it's cold. You're not. You're being brought in. The wording makes her skin crawl. Brought in, not taken, absorbed, like something they already own. Zuri looks between them, Damien, Trey, Mia, the suited men, the open SUV, and feels the moment sharpen into a knife-edge choice. If she refuses, they might drag her anyway. If she runs, they might hunt her. If she fights, she might lose badly here and now. But if she goes with them, if she steps willingly into that car, maybe she learns who really holds the power. Maybe she gets close enough to break them from the inside. Maybe this is how she stops this cycle. Not just for herself, but for everyone who's ever had their life twisted by unseen hands. Her heart hammers. Her lungs ache. The night feels too quiet. Damien's voice breaks through the static in her mind. Zuri, if you go with them, there's no going back. She looks at him, surprised by the raw honesty in his tone. Was there ever really a way back for you? She asks softly. His silence is her answer. The taller man takes a step closer. You have 3 seconds. Trey mutters under his breath. She's done. Mia watches, eyes narrowed, like she's studying the start of something she can't yet name. Zuri inhales, exhales. The world shrinks down to a single decision. Run like she always has or walk forward into the unknown, not as prey, but as a storm they never saw coming. Her foot lifts. She steps toward the SUV. Every instinct in her screams. Every fear howls. Every memory of people crushed by systems like this flares in her chest. But over all of that, louder than anything, one thought rises. If black justice is ever going to mean anything, someone has to walk into the darkness with their eyes open. She reaches the open door. Her hand rests on the frame. For a heartbeat, she hesitates, feeling Damien's gaze burning between her shoulder blades, feeling Trey's satisfaction, Mia's watchfulness, the suited men's indifference. Then she looks back over her shoulder, meets Damien's eyes one last time, and her voice comes out as a low, steady promise. You should have finished this when you still could. And with that, Zuri climbs into the SUV. The door slams shut behind her. The engine growls. The car begins to roll forward, carrying her deeper into the world that tried to own her and closer to the heart of the power that Black Justice Tales was born to expose. Because the moment that door closed, Zuri wasn't just in danger. She became the greatest threat the people inside that car had ever unknowingly invited in. The hum of the SUV engine vibrates through Zuri's bones as the doors lock with a soft, heavy click that feels too final. The men in the front don't speak. They don't even look back at her. They just drive, their movement steady, practiced, rehearsed. Zuri sits upright, breathing slowly, keeping her nerves from spilling out into the stale air. She made her choice. She walked into the unknown. Now she has to survive it. Her mind races. Trey wanted to break her. Mia wanted to test her. Damien wanted to warn her. But these men don't want anything. They just execute orders. The streets blur past the tinted windows. They're heading away from the city lights, deeper into the industrial district, a part of town most people pretend doesn't exist. Zuri's pulse steadies. If this is where the people behind Damien operate, this is where the truth lives, and she plans to rip it out by the roots. One of the men, the taller one, finally speaks. When we arrive, speak only if spoken to. Don't wander. Stay in sight. And do not lie. His voice is calm. Too calm. Zuri's fingers tighten, just slightly on her knees. What happens if I do? The man meets her eyes in the rear-view mirror for the first time. Then Damien won't be the one you need to worry about. Zuri's breath catches for just a moment before she forces it steady again. Fear is natural. Fear is expected. Fear is allowed. But she refuses to let it rule her. The SUV slows, turning into a fenced compound. Tall steel gates slide open without anyone touching them. Cameras follow the vehicle as it moves through the darkened yard. Zuri's heart hammers once. A hard, heavy thud. As the SUV rolls to a stop in front of a warehouse with no signs, no windows, no markings. Just a blank concrete building humming with hidden activity. The men exit first. Zuri waits. 3 seconds. 4. 5. Then she steps out, the cold air hitting her like a warning. Inside the warehouse, harsh lights reveal a long corridor lined with doors. Each door is unlabeled, each guarded by someone who doesn't look like they blink often. The taller man gestures. This way. Zuri walks. Her steps are slow but controlled. She keeps her gaze forward, shoulders back, every instinct screaming at her to turn around. But her resolve pushes her onward. They reach a final door. Sleek, black, reinforced. The guard unlocks it. Zuri steps inside. The room is impossibly clean. White walls, a single table, 2 chairs, and sitting in one of those chairs is someone she never expected. Someone who doesn't belong in a place like this. Someone who shouldn't have any connection to Damien or the shadows he serves. Someone who shouldn't even know her name. Her breath stutters. No, this can't be real. But the person turns slowly, meeting her eyes with a calm, assessing expression, and Zuri feels the floor drop out beneath her. Hello, Zuri, the person says softly. I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. The door behind her clicks shut. Zuri's heartbeat falters. She knows that voice. The one she trusted. The one who always told her to stay quiet, lay low, don't get involved, don't push back. It wasn't concern. It was control. Zuri steps back, her mind spinning, her thoughts colliding like sparks inside her skull. You, she whispers. You're the one behind all of this. The person smiles gently, almost kindly. Oh, Zuri, you still don't understand. They lean forward, folding their hands. You walked into this world thinking Damien was your enemy. A pause, a soft exhale, a chilling smile. But he was only the gatekeeper. Zuri's breath catches. Her pulse spikes. The truth hits her like a weight dropped from the sky. Damien wasn't the threat. He was a warning. And she stepped right past him. The person gestures to the empty chair across from them. Sit. We have much to discuss. And very, very little time. Zuri doesn't move. Her body is frozen. Her thoughts spiraling. Her instincts screaming. This isn't a meeting. This is a trap. A trap designed specifically for her. I'm not sitting, Zuri says, her voice low but steady. The smile fades. Zuri. The person whispers, their tone shifting into something cold and razor-sharp. You walked into our world. Now you'll follow our rules. Zuri's heartbeat thunders. Her jaw tightens. Her hands curl into fists. She looks them in the eye. No, she says quietly. Your rules end tonight. The person rises slowly, their shadow stretching across the room like the beginning of a storm. You don't know what you've started. Zuri lifts her chin. Then, teach me. Silence. A beat. A shift in the air, so heavy it feels like the walls themselves are holding their breath. And then, the lights flicker. The room vibrates. A red alarm flashes across the ceiling. The taller man outside shouts something muffled. The warehouse shakes. The person in front of Zuri turns sharply toward the door. And Zuri realizes with a jolt of terror and hope, something has breached the compound. Someone or something is coming. For her. Against her. Or instead of her. She doesn't know, but it's coming fast. And just as the ceiling light snaps off, plunging the room into darkness, a voice whispers behind Zuri. Move. Now. Darkness swallows the room as the lights cut out. The alarm blares through the warehouse, a deep, pulsing warning that vibrates in Zuri's spine. She freezes, breath caught in her throat, and then a whisper. Behind her. Close. Move. Now. Zuri spins, but all she sees is shadows. The emergency lights sputter once, throwing a brief red glow across the walls, and in that single flicker, she sees a silhouette. Not Damien. Not Trey. Not Mia. Not the cold-eyed figures who brought her here. This one stands differently. Confident. Ready. And familiar. She can't place it, not fully, but something deep inside her responds like her instincts have been waiting for this moment. Who are you? She whispers. Another flicker. Another red flash. A hand reaches out. The only one who didn't want you here. The voice says urgently, "Come on, we don't have much time." Zuri hesitates, only for a heartbeat, then steps toward them. Behind her, the door slams open. Men rush in, shouting commands she can't hear over the ringing in her ears. The figure grabs her wrist and pulls her down a side corridor just as the lights surge back on. The warehouse is chaos now. Footsteps pounding, doors slamming, voices overlapping with panic. Zuri's breath comes in sharp bursts. "Why are you helping me?" The figure doesn't slow. "Because you were never supposed to be their prisoner. You were supposed to be their replacement." Zuri stumbles. "Their what?" "You weren't dragged into a conflict," the figure says, pushing open another door. "You were being groomed for it." Her stomach twists. Her mind races. All the warnings, all the manipulation, all the carefully placed fear. Damien wasn't trying to keep her out. He was trying to keep her free. The figure gestures her into a freight elevator. They target people with backbone, with fire, people who can lead. They were watching you long before Damien ever spoke to you. Zuri's chest tightens. "So, Damien was trying to protect me?" "No," the figure says quietly as the elevator begins to descend. "Damien was trying to protect what was left of himself." The elevator opens into an underground loading bay. It's dim, quiet, miles away from the chaos above. Zuri turns toward her rescuer, but they finally step into the light, and her breath leaves her body. It's Asha, the woman who mentored her in her earliest job, the one who always encouraged her to blend in, the one who gently steered her away from conflict, the one who told her to avoid Damien entirely. "Asha?" Asha nods, expression grim. "I tried to keep you out of their reach. But the moment you stood up to Damien, you caught their attention. And I knew they'd come for you." Zuri feels the betrayal and heartbreak ripple through her chest. "So all that advice, all the warnings, was to keep me small?" Asha looks away. "To keep you safe." Zuri shakes her head. "Safe or silent, Asha?" Asha flinches at the question, because she knows the truth. But before she can answer, the ground trembles again. Something above them crashes, shaking dust from the ceiling. Asha grabs Zuri's arm. "We have one chance to get you out. After that, you're on your own." Zuri pulls her arm free, gently but firmly. "I'm done being protected. I'm done being managed. This ends now, not by running, but by exposing everything." Asha's eyes widen. "Zuri, you don't understand how powerful they are." "Then I'll become more powerful." Zuri says, voice steady. "Not with violence. With truth. With people. With justice." Footsteps echo down the ramp. They're coming. Asha turns toward the noise, panic rising. But Zuri steps forward, shoulders squared. "I walked into their world," she says softly. "But they're about to learn it was the worst mistake they ever made." And then, from the shadows at the top of the ramp, someone steps into view. Damien, bruised, breathing hard, but standing. Asha stiffens. Zuri exhales, her expression unreadable. He looks at her, really looks, as if seeing her not as someone he needs to warn, but someone he needs to follow. "You're not running," Damien says quietly. Zuri shakes her head. "No, I'm ending this." Damien nods once, slow, respectful, and for the first time since she met him, he speaks not as a threat, but as an ally. "Then lead the way, Zuri." Her chest fills with something fierce and unstoppable. She steps past Asha, past Damien, toward the ramp where danger waits. But so does the truth, because wickedness born in darkness doesn't stay dark forever. Tonight, someone wicked will be wicked for good, and Zuri walks into the light, ready to end it. The ramp echoes with the sound of heavy boots as Zuri steps forward, Damien beside her, Asha behind them. The air hums, tense, electric, like the moment before a storm breaks. Zuri's pulse steadies. She's not the girl who walked home quietly. She's not the woman who avoided trouble. She's not the one who shrank to stay safe. She's the one who walked willingly into the lion's den. And now, she's walking back out, in control. As they reach the top of the ramp, the warehouse fills with figures dressed in black. The ones who controlled Damien, threatened him, hunted Zuri, shaped the shadows behind the city. At the center stands a director. Cold, sharp, calculating. The same person who sat calmly in the White Room. The same person who told her she was chosen, not for freedom, but for ownership. They stepped forward. Zuri, the director says, tone soft but venom thin. You should have taken your seat. You had potential. You could have been valuable. Zuri doesn't blink. I'm not here to be valuable to you, she says evenly. I'm here to end this. A murmur ripples through the group. Damien steps to her side, not ahead of her, not shielding her, beside her. Asha stands on her other side, shoulders squared. The director's smile drops. You've cost us time, and you've cost us control. Their voice darkens. But you won't cost us the future. Zuri lifts her chin. Your future ends tonight. A distant thudding grows louder, not footsteps this time, but engines, vehicles, many of them. The director frowns. Damien exhales slowly. You didn't think we came down here alone, did you? The director turns sharply toward him. Surprise, then rage flickering across their face. Zuri didn't know. Not fully, but she trusts the moment. Blue lights flash against the walls as multiple vehicles burst through the compound gates. Law enforcement, federal agents, investigators who've been trying to crack this syndicate for years. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. Asha called them. Damien provided the evidence. And Zuri, by stepping into the SUV, became the last piece the authorities needed to move. The director's voice rises, no longer calm. You traitors, both of you. Damien nods slightly. You turned me into a weapon, and you thought I wouldn't notice when you aimed me at the wrong people. Asha steps forward. And you used fear like a leash. But you forgot. Fear breaks. Zuri feels the moment gather around her like a rising wind. Every footstep she took tonight, every confrontation, every choice led to this. Agents flood the warehouse, shouting commands. The director steps back. But there's nowhere to go. The walls they built to trap others are now their own cage. Damien places his hands behind his head. Asha does the same. Zuri's heart slams in her chest, but she raises her hands slowly, cooperating. The director is surrounded, but their eyes are on Zuri, furious, shocked. You started something you cannot contain. They hiss. Zuri shakes her head. No, she says softly. I finished what you tried to start with me. The director is taken into custody, the empire behind Damien finally exposed. The operation collapses in minutes. Years of fear end in a single night. Zuri steps outside as dawn creeps across the horizon. Cool air fills her lungs. Her shoulders drop. For the first time in her life, she feels light. Damien walks out a few moments later, escorted but unharmed. He stops beside her, glancing at the sky. You're free now, he says quietly. Zuri shakes her head. No, she replies. I'm responsible now. He studies her for a long moment. Then, something unexpected. Respect. Be careful, Zuri, he murmurs as they lead him away. When people see the kind of strength you showed tonight, they'll want to follow you, or they'll want to silence you. Zuri watches the sun rise. Then let them try. Her voice is steady, certain, unshakable. She isn't wicked for evil. She isn't wicked for power. She isn't wicked for fear. Tonight proved it. She is wicked for good. And the city will never be the same again. If you enjoyed this cinematic journey of courage, corruption, and justice, drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Like this story, subscribe for more powerful episodes, and turn on the notification bell. And here's your question of the day. If you were in Zuri's shoes, would you have exposed the system or walked away to protect yourself? Your answer might say more about you than you think. Think about it, because justice always starts with one person brave enough to take the first step. See you in the next Black Justice Tale.